Hi everyone, this is assignment 1 part 2. As part of part 2, you will be performing some theoretical preparations. So you will be giving answer for these questions which is given here. And then you got one lab activity as well. So that's about virtual network. And in this video, we will see how to complete this particular virtual network lab. So I have already started the lab. So by now you all know how to launch lab. Once you launch the lab, then you are ready to do lab activity. So maybe this particular window is not fit to my screen. So I just let me change this display setting. Search the resolution and then with this. Okay. Yes. Now let's start lab activity. So the activity is to create a virtual network, and task one is to create a virtual network. As usual, you need to sign into Azure portal. So for that, use any browser. So the one which is provided is Microsoft Edge. We can use that and search for portal.azure.com. In page or sign in page, key in your username and the password. Yes, no thanks. First step is over. So I check the box. Let's perform the second activity. You can close all the unnecessary windows. There's one again, this one as well. Now, the next thing is we need to go and find virtual network under all services so that you can get it under this. Select all services and search for virtual network. So this is one way. And another way is instead of going here by being in home page, you can even search from this search bar as well. So you can search for virtual networks. You still get the same. Now let's create a virtual network. So either you can click this button or this one. Okay, so this step is over. Now let's go and give some information what we need. So under the basics tab, you might be selecting the subscription. You can just leave it default, and then the resource group also you can leave it default. And then the virtual network name, VNet1. Let me type it, VNet1. And the region to be East US. Make sure that your default selection is East US. If not, you change it. And then review create. And create. This will create a virtual network. Next, as part of task 2, we are going to deploy 2 virtual machines. So in this, you will also come to know how to create a virtual machine as well. Okay, let us wait. Yes, the resource got created. So now what I can do, I can just again go for this all services blade for searching virtual machine. Either I can go here, all services, and search for the virtual machine. If not, if I'm on the home page, I can still get to virtual machine by searching here. Let me create Azure virtual machine. So on the basics tab, we need to give following information. So subscription, you leave it default. If in case this subscription is not selected, you can just use this drop-down menu and select the one. And the resource group, the default one which is provided, select it. And then you give it a name. So this is VM1. So any resource what you create in Azure must get a name. So that's the name you're giving here. And the region, default it is selected US2, but I need East US. So I'll select East US. And then the image is Windows Server 2019 data center. So this is the operating system I'm going to select for creating a VM. So in image, I'm typing in 2019 data center. And then the username and password is this. Better to use the password what is given here. Don't type your own, just to avoid confusion. And then in the public inbound ports, you select allow selected ports and then select the inbound port as RDP, that is 3389. And next is disk, no modification. You can just say not now. And you can go to networking. Under networking, make sure that it is VNet 1. So this is the VNet which we have created in our previous task 1. So that VNet I'm selecting, and the rest you can leave it default and say review and create. And create. So this is, we need to create 2 virtual machines. One virtual machine is created. Let us wait the resource deployment to be successful. Once it is, then we start creating the next one. If you want, what you can do, you can just duplicate multiple tabs and you can work with one service in tab. Maybe in first tab, you can work with virtual network. In the second tab, you can work with VM1, VM2, something like that. So this is my VM1, which is getting created. So in the second tab, let me just go to the home page by clicking this icon. And then I can get ready myself for creating the next VM here. Let me wait for this VM deployment to be successful. Yes, it is. Now let's go to the other tab. Here, I'm going to create a new VM. If you want to do it in the same tab, that's absolutely fine. But just to, you can do it with this way as well. Let me search virtual machine either from here, or I can search it here, or I can go even here as well. So anyways, I got it here. Let me go for virtual machine, create a virtual machine. So it says that you need to repeat the first 2 to 4 steps again. Okay. So the same I'm going to do. I'll just leave the subscription selected, resource group selected, VM name to be VM2. Previous one, it was VM1, for this VM2. And again, it should be in East US. Search for US so that you can select East US. And then the image to be 2019 data center. Then here the username and password also I'll give the same. Okay, next disk, no modification. Networking, I need to make sure that the VNet 1 is selected. Yes, it is. And that's it. Now let me review and create. And create. So once these two are created, so then one VM1 is already created. Once VM2 gets created, then we can go and test the connection. This is VM1. From all resources, Blade search for VM1 and open overview Blade. So either you can just say go to resources, VM1 and the overview blade. So it will take me directly here. If not, if in case you miss this particular page, you can always go to that place by selecting all services, virtual machine, and selecting the virtual machine one. It'll take you again to the same place. So I prefer this way, virtual machine one. Again, it will still take me here. I can just minimize this so that I can get better view for VM1. So under VM1, under the overview blade, okay, you have to check the status whether it is running or not. Yes, it is. It is running. Now, here you have connect. Click on connect and then connect. So you can download RDP file. So I just want to take an RDP of this VM1. For that, I need an RDP file, and that's what I'm downloading. I'll click on download. You can say keep anyways. Yes, that's VM1's RDP file is downloaded. Now let's open this RDP file, connect, and it'll ask the username and password. So I hope you remember the VM1 when you was creating, you have given the username and password as this. So you make sure that the username is Azure user. Yes, obviously it's a RDP file which we have downloaded here. So the custom RDP file, it will come with the username pre-created. And next is the password. So you just key in the password and say okay. And you can say yes. This will connect to virtual machine 1. So let me minimize. Might take some time to load. I'll do the same thing for the VM2 as well. So this is VM2. This is VM1. So I go to VM2. I can say go to resources, or I can go to the home page and I can get back to this place always. Now you have to check whether the status is running. Yes, it is running. Now let's go to connect to this VM. For this, I'll click on connect, and download RDP file. I'll say keep. So now VM2's RDP file is downloaded. Let's try to connect by opening this file and say connect. Again, the same password has to be keyed in. Sometimes it might take some time, so you can just try to connect couple of times. Okay, do one thing, just once again download this RDP file. You can say keep anyway and then try to connect. Yeah, sometimes this kind of transient error might occur. So what you can do, just close this, download this RDP file once again and try to connect. Now let me key in the password. The username is already considered, and then this is the password, and say okay. Yes. Now it has connected to both the VM. Yeah, this is second VM. And if you see in the taskbar, totally there are two VMs we have connected, and both you can access in these windows. So this is VM1 and this is VM2. And let me go to VM1. Because this is a server operating system, you get the server manager. Now you can just go and disable this particular firewall. So every Windows operating system comes with firewall inbuilt, and by default, it will block some of the traffic which we are going to test. So for that, let us disable Windows firewall. And for that, you need to locate the Windows firewall first. How do you do it? You can go to Start menu and search for Settings. This one, start menu settings, and then network and internet. The Windows firewall. For both public and private network, use it, turn it off. So select the private network, turn it off. And again, go back, go to the public network, turn it off. If not, we have to go to firewall and we'll have to allow some rules. For ICMP traffic, we need to allow. So that's another way. So this is one more way. So now both the public and private network is not monitored by the Windows firewall, what we have in this operating system. Now let me minimize this. I should do the same thing with the other system as well. So this is my next system. Go to start, search for settings. In settings, network and internet. In network and internet, select firewall, disable for both private and public network. That's it. You can minimize these things. You can close this. And now, so you have totally two VM. Let me go to the first VM. Close this. Now I can search for PowerShell, Windows PowerShell, and execute this particular command, ping VM2. So ping works on ICMP protocol, and by default, Windows blocks ICMP traffic. That is why Windows Firewall, we disabled it. Ping VM2 and hit enter. You'll be getting a response. And you can do the same thing with the VM1 as well. Sorry, VM2 as well. So go to VM2 and then you can search for PowerShell. And in here, you will be pinging VM1. So from VM1, we pinged VM2, and this is VM2. So we can ping VM1. So we are just pinging with the name of the VM itself because both of them are present in same network. So it is possible. Yes. And that's it. You have done the lab. And so what you can do, you can just end this lab. Yes, in my lab, and you can give rating and submit it. And don't forget that all the main activity, once you complete like task 1 and task 2, take necessary screenshots by adding a name as sticky note.